it's hard to go there because it is so painful. However, the offer of Jesus Christ is to heal the brokenhearted, setting the captive heart free. If we go there, then we can receive that ministry of Jesus. With every wound comes a message. It's a message from Satan. And every wound message is a lie. And out of the wound and the lie comes a vow that we make with Satan that shapes us. We make a vow or a resolution, and out of those things comes our false self. In my case, I was abused and my dad abandoned me, and the lie that came with it was, "You're not worth my time." I'll never let anybody get close to me again, was the vow I made with Satan. And then here was Joyce, my wife, 44 years later, living with a man that was emotionally unavailable. I had no close friends. I just was not going to let anybody in. And so I became the driven, independent man that I was for so long. Take any of these things, the wound, the lie, the vow, the false self, that's where it comes from. The poser is just on the surface. The addictions are not the deepest thing. All that stuff is simply symptoms of these deeper things that have gone on in our lives. And these childhood vows, those are very damaging to our souls, men. We have to go back and renounce them. Those childhood vows. I will never let anyone hurt me again. I will never, you fill in the blank, be in that position again. That is not good stuff. You can't bring these things out when you're a boy. It's not your fault. I just thought it was me. It's not your fault. I just figured that if anybody got to know me, they're going to do the same thing as my dad, so I'm just not going to let anybody get to know me. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. The Father loves you.
Amen.
You are His delight.
Amen.
He wants to come. Men and boys, He wants to come and embrace you. It is not that these things that I've done in my life were all posing, but throughout my life, surrounded by men and young men, I was never sure after age 10 that my Father still saw me as a man. Don't get me wrong, I've had a great life since the abuse stopped, but the results of my wounding have continued. I kept trying to recapture that feeling of being my Father's delight. My dad passed away in 1986. I can't have this discussion with him. But I did have this discussion with God. And do you know what He told me? God told me exactly the same thing that He wants to tell you. If you will take the time to listen to Him. He told me this, Mark, you are my beloved Son, and I am well pleased with you. It took me until I was 54 years old to realize what I'd been doing since I was 10. I was so wrapped up in my gold mining operation in Alaska that I couldn't see I'd been driving my wife and sons away. Not until my wife left me last summer did I see what I've been doing to my family. I realized how this drivenness had kept me from really knowing my wife or allowing her to really know me. It had kept me so distant from my sons that we didn't have the relationship God wanted us to have.